As an introduction to contract plans reading, we'll review the contract plans for US 101, Avenue A to Avenue K. This project's on the Oregon Coast Highway, US 101 in the city of Seaside. We can see where we are in the state with the location map in the upper right corner. For this contract, the contract number is 15397, and there are 283 plan sheets in the set. For many projects, it's not uncommon to have over 100 plan sheets, and typically as the complexity and the scale increase, the number of sheets will increase as well. Some projects have well over 1,000 plan sheets. As we work through the plans, we'll be seeking to increase our understanding of how to locate information and some basic plan reading skills. Similar to a book that has many pages long, it would take time to read it if it were 283 pages long. A plan set also takes time to understand and read as well. Additionally, as we'll see, a plan set is not typically read from front cover to back cover, but instead reviewing the areas of interest and referring to the applicable plan sheets. Work on this project includes grading, drainage, paving, curb ramps, signing, illumination, signals, and roadside development. Project limits are from mile point 21.12 to mile point 21.53 for an overall project length of 0.41 miles. Or if expressed with the stationing, this is from station L 10 plus 0.5 to station L 31 plus 79.09. There's some additional work shown on the title sheet, and that includes the work for the ST line for a storm sewer outfall, and work for biofiltration swales at mile point 26.37 and 26.68 further to the south. For this review, we'll generally review and look into the details of the work that's occurring near Avenue B. There's a pedestrian crossing there with a rectangular rapid flashing beacon that's planned for the crossing of US 101 in that vicinity, along with other work. The index of plan sheet starts in the upper left-hand corner and continues on to the next plan sheet. Let's go to plan sheet A02. On plan sheet A02 is a listing of the rest of the plan sheets for the project. Plan sheets, those generally include the roadway details, roadway construction, traffic control, roadside development, erosion control, geotechnical, hydraulics, signs, signals, illumination, and permanent pavement markings, and the standard drawings that are part of the contract, along with a reference to the right-of-way map RW 9635M. And while this plan set includes many of the plan types, it does not include all the disciplines. For example, there's no bridge work on the project, so there's no bridge plans. Although we will not review all plan types, the same basic plan reading skill applies to all the different types of contract plans. As we're wanting to look at the proposed plans near Avenue B, we will start with the roadway construction plans and the C01 series. And that's going to include the alignment, general construction, construction notes, drainage and utilities, drainage notes, and profile. If we take a look at the vicinity map from the title sheet, we can sketch in where the roadway construction plan sheets will apply. For C01 through C01F, these are approximately in locations shown here. For C02 through C02G, they're approximately here. The C03 series would be here. Then we have C04 and C05. For larger, more complex projects, the plan set may include a plan sheet layout for the roadway sheets, but since this project is smaller, it's not included. Next, let's go to the alignment plan sheet, C01. The alignment plan sheet C01 shows the alignment details. Let's walk through a few items on the alignment plan sheet. The beginning of the project is shown at L 10 plus 05.00 and mile point 21.12. The north arrow is in the upper right-hand corner. With the L-line stationing, we can see that the numbers are increasing towards the south. So the alignment is running from north to south. For the alignment stationing, there are tick marks, and those occur every 100 feet. And while not shown in the drawing, if you were to add the stationing text to each one of these, it would look like the following. With that, there's 100 feet between each station. The alignment information is provided for the horizontal geometry L and other alignments as well, with B and C and SFW line. The SFW line is a business driveway approach located on the east side of the highway. Information for right-of-way is shown with right-of-way lines, permanent easements, and temporary easements. Temporary easements are typically acquired for the construction phase to allow for construction of the project. At the top of the sheet, the section, township, and range are provided, and from that we can see we are in section 21, township 6 north, and range 10 west. The WM means the Willamette Meridian. The Willamette Meridian runs through Oregon and Washington State, and land surveys and property descriptions in Oregon and Washington are referenced to the Willamette Meridian. Feel free to search the term Willamette Meridian or section, township, and range, or ask your surveyor to find out more information. Additionally, if you want to see for yourself, take a look at TransGIS and open up the boundaries layer, and then select PLSS, Public Land Survey System, Township Range, and Sections. Click Submit and zoom into your area of interest. That's it for the overview of the alignment plan sheet. Now let's review the general construction plan sheet. On the general construction sheet C01A, it's showing the same area as the alignment plan sheet C01. With the general construction sheet, we're starting to see some of the details for the construction in this area. For review of the plans, we'll limit our review to the approximate area shown in the box. Our area of interest is from L line station 10 plus 05 to L line station 11 plus 30.70, or where the B line intersects the L line. We know the stationing at the intersection of L and B line from sheet C01, where this was shown. And even if we didn't know the exact station, we could figure out the location from the alignment stationing and get close. Now, if we're to do the math on how long a segment we're looking at, we can find this by writing a simple subtraction equation with the following format. And for this math, we're just going to ignore the plus sign, as it's really just a spacer between the numbers, and we're going to subtract the bottom from the top, and we get 125.70 feet. For context on the overall project, if we're bringing the vicinity map on from the title sheet, we can see that the project is from station L 10 plus 05 to station L 31 plus 79.09. And again, if we're to do the math, this would equal 2,174.09. And just out of curiosity, if we compare this segment that we're looking at to the overall project, we can find that the length that we're reviewing is about 6% of the project by length. Now, when reviewing the plans, it's very helpful to review the project on site, but at a minimum, let's bring up TransGIS, the ODOT Digital Video Log, Google Maps, Street View, or something similar, and review it virtually if reviewing on site is not an option. At this point, please use a mapping tool of your choice and review the project site. A couple items to look for include pavement condition, bus stop, illumination, signs, striping, and utilities, the adjacent land uses and access points, potential truck routing, intersection control, drainage facilities, and posted speed. As this project was bid in July of 2022, you may be able to see the project both prior to and after construction, so keep that in mind. Please take a moment and pause the video and review this location of US 101 between Avenue A and Avenue B and Seaside using a mapping tool of your choice. Hopefully you're able to find that location and found the review to be helpful. Let's continue on with the review of the plans. Looking at the sheet here, we can see that there are no bubbles. And the description of those notes is on the next sheet. But before we get to those, let's go back to the typical sections for the project and see generally what type of work is planned in this area. And to help out, we're going to go first to the index of sheets. On plan sheet A02, we can see that the typical sections are found on sheet number BA01 through BA17. On plan sheet BA01, the typical section is shown. And as a reminder, let's bring up a clip of the area of interest. The area of interest generally applies the station range shown in the typical and on the first stack. The upper stack at station L, 11 plus 31, to L, 12 plus 20, is outside the station range of our area of interest. As we can see in the typical section, US 101 L line is in full depth reconstruction with subgrade geotextile, 12 inches of aggregate base, 6 inches of ACP or asphalt concrete pavement base course, and that's constructed in two 3-inch lifts and a 3-inch ACP wearing course. The pavement is a level 3, which is intended for moderate truck traffic, and the 1/2 inch refers to the aggregate size, and the PG 64-22 is the asphalt cement type. For additional details on the specifics for the pavement, those are found in the standard specifications and the special provisions for the project. There's a 6-foot sidewalk on both sides with 1.5% cross slope and with 4 inches of aggregate base underneath. For the roadway profile grade, this is at the L center line. And for this particular segment, we can see that the center line is established offset from the actual center of the roadway. The profile grade is indicated to be at the center line as well, and this is where the vertical alignment is applied, as we'll see in the profile sheets. Over on the right, we have additional information on the area behind the walk with a 1 to 4 slope. That's 1 vertical to 4 horizontal, and that's to be a rock mulch with a 6-inch thickness. There's an existing retaining wall shown in the typical section, and up on the stack we can see a proposed tall curb. And that generally applies from station L, 10 plus 61, to 11 plus 31, as shown in the stack. There's some information on the paving in the parking lot next to the tall curb. And the last item that we'll review in the typical section is the curb that's shown next to the roadway. And this indicates a 30-inch curb and gutter, and there's a 7-inch curb exposure as shown on the left. This also references standard drawing RD700. Let's look a bit more in detail on this item to ensure that we understand what's being shown. Going back to plan sheet A02, we can see that RD700 is referenced here as well, and RD700 is included in the contract plans. We find RD700 on page 214 of page 283 in the contract plans. The standard drawings are added to the plan set when the plans are finalized for the contract. If you're reviewing a draft set of plans during the project development or even during the advertisement phase, the standard drawings can be found on the web page. Just search Oregon Standard Drawings and you should be able to find them. For RD700, there are many different curbs shown, and for our review, we'll be looking at the curb and gutter. If a snip of the typical section is brought up, we can see that the note is for a 30-inch curb and gutter. And for the 30-inch curb and gutter, this is measured from the top back of curb to the lower bottom edge of the gutter pan, as shown in the standard drawing. Additional details are shown dimensioning out the curb and gutter as well. And another item to pay attention to is the notes that are applicable to the drawing. This includes notes for joint spacing and other items. Okay, let's go back to the general construction sheet, C01A. Here we are back on C01A. For the construction notes, we'll focus on the notes within the area of interest. So just these. Let's go to the next sheet, C01B, and review the construction notes. Here's plan sheet C01B that has the construction notes. Sometimes these are on the same plan sheet as the construction drawings, but when we have a project where there's many notes like this project, a separate sheet is commonly used. To help visualize the notes and what they apply to, let's bring in a snip of the construction plans. The applicable construction bubbles for the area that we're reviewing are here, and the notes are there. Let's start with construction note number 1. Construction note 1 provides construct curb and gutter, construct PCC, Portland concrete cement, sidewalk, and see drawings number RD 700 and RD 720. With the typical section review, we saw RD 700 already. Let's take a quick look at RD 720 and see what it shows. When we pull up RD 720, we find additional details for the sidewalk in addition to what's shown in the typical section. There are references back to RD 700 for the curb and gutter, and then some of the details for the sidewalk with the joints that include contraction joints every 15 feet maximum, and expansion joints at a maximum 45-foot intervals. The paint limits for the sidewalk are shown and where those apply in relation to driveways, along with the note that provides see the project plans for details not shown. So that's a quick review of note 1. Let's go to note 2. For construction note 2, this provides construct curb ramp parallel. Install safety yellow truncated domes on new surface with 10 square feet as a quantity. PCC surfacing. This is ramp number 1 and is an MBE or mid-block crossing. For details, see sheet BC04 and drawing numbers RD 900, 901, 902, 904, 905, and 920. If you need to review the details for the curb ramp, all these items should be reviewed. For our plan review, we're going to look at the first two standard drawings, RD 900 and 901, and then we'll go back to BC04. On RD 900, this shows the general curb ramp components and legends. Also, the curb ramp index is provided for the standard drawing numbers. RD 901 is the curb ramp legend and corner identification standard drawing. To the right-hand side is the corner position and the curb ramp position diagram. This provides how curb ramps are typically numbered at intersections. There's a legend for the symbols commonly used with curb ramp details. In the upper right is the LRM number, or the linear referencing system, and that's described along with additional information on the mile point, corner position, and curb ramp position. Below that are some standard abbreviations, and in the lower left is the intersection condition type with MB for mid-block, SU for signalized or uncontrolled, and SY for stop or yield. Let's go to BC04 for the curb ramp details. On plan sheet A02, we can see that BC04 is found in the curb ramp details. This is near to the front of the plan set, so we can find it there. Another item that should be noted is that the plan sheets are alphabetical, starting with the A series for the title sheet and finishing up with Q for the permanent pavement markings, with A through E in the first column and F through Q in the second column. With this logical sequence, once you know the plan sheet number, you'll be able to find quickly in the set as the set is alphabetical. Also for the plan set, there's a curb ramp layout sheet in A05 through A08, and this can be helpful to locate curb ramps. Let's go to A05 first, and then we'll go to BC04. Turning to A05, we can see the curb ramp that we're looking for here, and is referred to as CR02. With just this layout sheet and curb ramp details, we can use this quickly to locate curb ramps and see the details. For our purposes, we already know the plan sheet number, and the details are on BC04. So let's go there. Find BC04 on page 42 of the 283 plan set. This plan sheet refers back to the curb ramp layout sheet A05 that we're just looking at. And this plan sheet provides additional details on the curb ramp that includes the alignment of the gutter line for the CR02 alignment, and points on the curb ramp refer back to that alignment, except for the pedestrian push button and the foundation points that refer back to the L line. Additionally, there are elevation points and slopes and dimensions, along with other details such as the right-of-way line and other features. Notes are provided on the sheet. With note 1, we can see that slopes hold over elevations. So if there's a conflict between the elevation and the slope will govern. Along with other notes as well and references to other applicable drawings. For curb ramp details, if there are any design exceptions or crossing closures, they're found here, along with the curb ramp location data. Let's go back to the general note sheet, C01B. So we just completed a review of note 2 for curb ramp parallel. Looking at the other highlighted notes, these are generally similar. If we review note 7 versus note 2, we can see that they are both construct curb ramp parallel, with a different location and a different detailed sheet. One item that's missing for note 7 is the reference to the standard drawings. And this is because they were already referenced with note number 2. And the curb ramp parallel is again used for note 7. When items are repeated, the standard drawings are not normally repeated as they've already been referenced. As many of the remaining highlighted notes are similar, please feel free to review those on your own, except for note number 17. And we'll review that together. Note 17 provides remove existing retaining wall, construct tall curb, construct 3-rail handrail, and for sheet number A02 geotechnical. Let's go to sheet A02. On plan sheet A02, we can see the geotechnical plans are in the GB series, with GB01, tall curb plan and elevation, GB02, details, GB03 through GB05, tall curb plan and elevation, and GB06, details. Let's start off with GB01. When we go to plan sheet GB01, we find that it's showing work between Avenue F and Avenue G. So we go to the next plan sheet as we're looking for work near Avenue B. On GB02 are the details for the tall curb. The tall curb shows the rebar details and allows for a 2-foot, 8-inch maximum retained height. Dimension F is the footing height, and it's 1/2 of the retained height. On plan sheet GB03 is the tall curb plan and elevation at Avenue B. The tall curb location is shown in the plan view, and the plan view also identifies R1 as the wall alignment, and references R1 alignment to the L line and the B line with station and offset from the respective alignments. The R1 line is shown in the profile, where the station elevation data is provided for the tall curb. On the pay area diagram, the R1 line is shown, and we can see how contract payment is measured, with the area between the bottom face of curb and the top face of curb. The R1 line is also shown in the typical section, where it provides additional details for the tall curb. And we can see that the alignment is at the bottom face of curb. For the pedestrian rail details, those are on RD 770 and plan sheet GB06. Let's go to plan sheet GB06. On GB06, we find the details for the 3-rail handrail. That includes the anchor details, and there are references to other standard drawings as well. Just complete a review of note 17. Let's go to the next plan sheet in the C01 series. The next plan sheet will be C01C, Drainage and Utilities. Here we have sheet number C01C, Drainage and Utilities. Let's add the area of interest to the plan sheet. And we can see that near Avenue B, construction nodes 1, 2, 9, 12, and 13 are in this area. Let's go to the next plan sheet to understand the work that's planned for each one of these items. On plan sheet C01D, the notes are provided for the construction elements. Let's bring in a snip of the drainage plan C01C. For the work that we're interested in, it includes these notes, and those notes are note number 1, Station L, 11 plus 19.80, 26.3 feet to the right. Remove inlet, remove pipe, 31.4 feet. And the next note is note number 2, Station L, 11 plus 14.65, 18.4 feet to the right. Construct a CG2 inlet. Install a 14-inch ductile iron pipe, 46.1 feet, 5-foot depth. See standard drawing RD 348. The 5-foot depth indicates the maximum depth range for the pay item. For the actual elevations for the pipe, those are shown on the profile sheet. Additionally, for note 2, the CG2 inlet that's being constructed appears to be a replacement of the inlet removed with note number 1. And with the curb line moved and reconstruction of the new inlet with note number 2, it's being installed to match that new curb location. Note number 9 is Station L, 11 plus 31.13, 36.7 feet left. Remove inlet, fill and abandon the existing pipe, 22.6 feet. Then we have note 12, Station L, 11 plus 28, 25 feet to the left, adjust the manhole, and this is to match the reconstructed surface of the roadway. Note 13, Station L, 11 plus 34, 29 feet to the right, adjust box 2. And this is again to match the reconstructed surface of the roadway. Next, let's go to the profile sheet, C01E. On C01E, we can see at the top of the sheet a super elevation diagram. And this shows the crossslope of the roadway and the transitions for the crossslope of the roadway. Below that is the profile, and if we bring in the approximate area that we've been reviewing, it's about here. Remember that that profile is vertically exaggerated, in general by a 10-to-1 ratio to allow those vertical elements to be seen more easily. Stationing shown on the bottom. Earthwork quantities are shown below the roadway profile, and for excavation and embankment with the quantities in cubic yards. On the profile grade is carried at the center line, that's identified. And remember also that the typical sections indicated where the profile grade is carried as well. The vertical curve information for the roadway profile is shown as well. And let's bring in a portion of the drainage plans to help out with review. On the drainage plans, let's look at note number 2, and note 2 provides Station L, 11 plus 14.65, 18.4 feet to the right, construct a CG2 inlet. Install 14-inch ductile iron pipe, 46.1 feet, and a 5-foot depth. When we go to the profile view, we can see where this is located with a plus 14.65 right inlet. The flow line elevation is provided at the inlet with a flow line elevation of 18.00 feet, and the pipe slope is shown with 0.8%, and a 14-inch pipe, 146.1 feet long. All right, to wrap up the discussion on drainage, we'll go to the pipe data sheet on plan sheet BD01. On plan sheet BD01 is the pipe data sheet. The pipe data sheet shows the acceptable pipe materials for use on the project. If we highlight note 2 that we're reviewing with plan sheet C01D, we find it here. Over on the right-hand side of the sheet, this pipe is shown as a Class 50 ductile iron pipe and a CG2 inlet. At the bottom of the sheet, in addition to the general notes, the applicable standard drawings are marked as well. Let's go back to the index of sheets. We just completed a review of BD01 pipe data sheet in the C01 series. Next, we'll review a portion of the traffic control plans and see how traffic will be managed during the construction of the project, including temporary pedestrian accessible routing, traffic controls in the E-Series. Let's go to EA01 to get started. On EA01, we have pedestrian detour sign details. On the lower part of the sheet, there are reference standard drawings. On sheet EA02 are road closure details. This drawing does not show the specific location, but is used for road closures. On the next sheet, EB01 is a bicycle detour plan, with details included for the signs. The portion of the project that we're reviewing is about here. This sheet shows the detour going along A Street, then Holiday Drive, and then returning back to US 101, and vice versa. Let's go to the next sheet. On sheet EB02 is Avenue G closure detour. Here's the approximate area that we've been reviewing. And this plan sheet's oriented different than the last sheet and other sheets we've reviewed. This sheet has north at the top of the sheet. On the plan sheet, it shows the details for the road closure of Avenue G. As there's nothing in our area of interest, let's go to the next plan sheet. On plan sheet EC01, we have traffic control plans for stage 1. If we add the area of interest near Avenue B, it's about here. And this plan sheet is showing the construction work on the west side of US 101, and this includes that tall curb that we reviewed earlier. And US 101 traffic is shifted to the east side of US 101. This is also represented in the cross-section down below as well. Also shown are the temporary traffic control devices that include signs, striping, and tubular markers. For stage 1, there are additional sheets for the rest of the project. We're on EC01, and this is page 107 of 283. If we skip ahead, we'll find stage 2 for the same section on page 111. This is stage 2 on page 111. And here's the area of interest again, and we're on ED01. This plan sheet is showing the construction work on the east side of US 101, and this includes the curb ramp that we reviewed earlier as well, and traffic is shifted to the west side of US 101. That's also represented in the cross sections down below as well. Next is stage 3 of the traffic control plans. And here's the area of interest. And now we're on page 114, plan sheet EE01. As provided by the note in the lower left-hand corner, this plan sheet is showing the final striping and the final configuration. It may be temporary or permanent. One last stage is stage 4. And this is to construct the median island on US 101. And now we're on page 117 in plan sheet EF01. And during construction, traffic is on either side of that median island. A temporary pedestrian accessible route plan is provided as well for stage 1 and stage 2. Here's stage 1. On this plan, it shows the temporary pedestrian accessible route on the east side of US 101, with construction work occurring on the west side. We're on plan sheet EG01. Here's stage 2, and now we're on plan sheet EH01. On this plan, it shows the temporary pedestrian accessible route on the west side of US 101, with construction work occurring on the east side. That completes the overview of the traffic control plans. Now we'll review the roadside development plans, and these are found on sheets FA01 through FA15. On FA01, we find the area near Avenue B, and the scale of the drawing is 1 inch equals 15 feet, so as such we're zoomed in on our area of interest compared to the other plan sheets that we've reviewed. Construction notes are provided with number 1, install lawn seeding, and then number 2 is install ground cover. Now we're going to skip ahead to FA15 as the remaining sheets are along the rest of the alignment, and FA15 is the next applicable sheet. On sheet FA15, we can see more details on the lawn seeding, with the general application rate and the estimated quantity. To see the actual seed mix, this is found in the special provisions for the project. Let me bring in a portion of the special provisions, and the specifics on the seed mix is found in special provision 1030.13F. And there it provides the application rates in pounds per acre for the different seed types such as fine fescue and perennial ryegrass. For the ground cover, we can see that there's some additional information on this material here as well. Okay, let's go back to the index of sheets. That completes the overview for the roadside development plans. Next, we'll review the erosion control plans, and these are found on sheet FB01 through FB11. Let's go to sheet FB01, Erosion and Sediment Control Layout. On FB01 is the erosion and sediment control layout. We can see that the sheet near Avenue B is FB02. And at the bottom of the sheet are some general notes, and the standard drawings are marked that are applicable for the erosion and sediment control plans. On FB02, let me add our area of interest. And within that area, we have Note 1, which provides Install Inlet Protection Type 3 and see Standard Drawing RD 1010. When we go to RD 1010, we find Inlet Protection Type 3, and we can see that's a prefabricated filter insert. Let's go back to the index of sheets on A02. That completes the overview for the erosion control plans and Standard Drawing 1010 for the Inlet Protection Type 3. Next, we'll review the sign plans, and those are found on sheet LA01 through LC04. We can see here that the sign plans generally have 3 components in the L series: the signing plan, the sign details, and the sign and post data table. We'll take a brief look at each of these and then dive into the details for one of the signs. First is a signing plan on LA01, where we have the layout of the signs. On LB01 are the sign details, and we can see the signs that are associated with each sign number. And third is the sign post data table with additional information on the location, size, materials, and post information on LC01. Let's go back to the plan sheet LA01 and we'll look at one of these signs. On plan sheet LA01 signing plan, we can again bring in the approximate area of interest. The standard drawings are shown at the bottom of the page, and on the left side of the sheet is the legend that provides the format for how the sign plan notes are structured. For our sign review, we'll choose the notes here. And this note shows 2 hexagon note bubbles, one with a 7 on top and a CCB below, and then one with a 7 in it. With the legend, we can review as being described by this note bubble. And the legend provides that the number on top indicates a new sign with sign number 7. And the CCB below indicates the material for the sign support. And for sign number 7, at this location, the material is a crosswalk closure barricade. The second 7 indicates another sign mounted on the other side of the crosswalk closure barricade. In the standard drawing list, at the bottom of the sheet, we find TM240. TM240 details the crosswalk closure barricade. We'll go first to the standard drawing and then to LB01, sign details, and find out more about sign number 7. On standard drawing TM240, we find the details for the crosswalk closure sign support. And this shows the installation details and the dimensions for the crosswalk closure support and sign. All right, let's go to LB01, sign details, and see what's shown there. On plan sheet LB01 are the sign details for the signs on the project. Along with the other signs in the sign plan, we can find sign number 7 here. Let's go to the sign post and data table on plan sheet LC01. On plan sheet LC01, we can see that there's actually 10 number 7 signs on the project. To narrow that down to our specific sign, we need to know the station at the location where the sign is being installed. If I bring up a snip of the plan sheet, we can see the stationing. And here's L15+00, and we can see the major ticks on the alignment down below. And then counting from that L15+00, we can see that the sign that we're interested in is at or near station L11+00 and on the right side of the alignment. With that, we can identify the location of the crosswalk closure sign is here at L11+00 and on the right-hand side. Up above, we can see the crosswalk closure support and the reference to standard drawing TM240. Okay, let's head back to plan sheet A02. That completes the overview of the sign plans in standard drawing TM240 for the crosswalk closure details. Continuing on with the review, we'll review the signal plans, and these are found on sheet MA01 through MC02. On MA01 is the flashing beacon plan, MA02 is the existing utilities, MB01 through MB02 is again the flashing beacon plan and existing utilities, and then on MC01 and MC02 are the details. We'll take a high-level overview of the signal plans. Let's start with MA01. Looking at MA01, flashing beacon plan, we can see that this is near our location that we've been reviewing at Avenue B. Similar to other plan sheets we've reviewed, there are notes, and the plan sheet provides the legend for the notes. For the signal plans, we'll again look at a few key items. As you can see, there are many details that are shown on signal plans. Signal plans show the conduit and the wiring, and we can see that number 2 with 2 circles around it indicates a 2-inch conduit. For elements such as the conduit and wiring, the signal plans are schematic in nature, showing the general location, but locations are finalized in the field. Junction boxes are shown, cabinets, and poles. And with pole number 1 on the west side of US 101, pole number 2 in the median, and pole number 3 on the east side of US 101. There are references to standard drawings and other related drawings, such as the illumination drawings, PA01 through PA04. Let's go to the next plan sheet, MA02. On plan sheet MA02, the existing utilities are shown in the area near Avenue B. Let's go to the plan sheet MB01. On MB01 is another location for a flashing beacon, and this time it's near Avenue F. As we're reviewing the elements near Avenue B, we'll move along to the next plan sheet. On MB02 are the existing utilities near Avenue F. Let's go on to the next plan sheet, MC01. On MC01, the details are provided for the rectangular rapid flashing beacon system. On the pole entrance chart, we find poles number 1, 2, and 3 from plan sheet MA01 near Avenue B. And remembering back to MA01, pole number 1 is on the west side of US 101, pole number 2 is in the median island, and pole number 3 was on the east side of US 101. The type is indicated as a pedestrian pedestal, And for poles number 1 and 3, there's one orientation angle for each of those, indicating a one-sided installation. And pole number 2, that's in the median, has two orientation angles, indicating a two-sided installation. The orientation diagram is shown below. And the details for the one-sided installation is to the left, with the foundation, pole, signs, flashing beacon, and other details. Additionally, there are references to the applicable standard drawings for details that are not shown in the drawing. The next plan sheet is MC02, and this is showing the two-sided median installation for pole number 2. On the previous drawing, the flashing beacon and the signs were on one side, and on MC02 it is showing the installation of the flashing beacon and the signs on both sides as the installations in the median of US 101, with traffic flowing both directions around the median island. Let's go back to A02 and continue with our review. That completes the overview of the signal plans. Next, we'll review the illumination plans, and those are found on sheets PA01 through PB01. On PA01 is the illumination legend and light pole table. PA02 is the illumination plan. PA03, geotechnical data. PA04 is the illumination plan. PA05 is the geotechnical data. And PB01 are the illumination details. We'll take a high-level overview of the illumination plans. Let's start with PA01. On plan sheet PA01, similar to the signal plans, on the right side of the sheet is a legend. And these will apply when reviewing the illumination plan on the following sheet. With the legend, there's a description of the note bubbles for the poles, the conduit, the wires and cables, the junction boxes, and cabinets. In the upper left is the metal light pole table and the legend for the table, along with details showing the pole height verification details. And remembering that the area of interest is from station L, 10 plus 05 to 11 plus 30.7, we can see that poles number 1 and 2 are within that station range. For poles number 1 and 2, the locations provided with the information regarding the attachment height of the arm, upsweep, arm dimensions, base to luminaire height, details on the luminaire, mounting height, base plate configuration, and a note regarding the handhole orientation. On the lower left are details regarding the energy utilization and the lighting values. Let's go to plan sheet PA02. On plan sheet PA02, we can see that we're near Avenue B with the illumination plan. And as the legend was on plan sheet PA01, let me bring forward a clip of the legend to help decipher the information that's being shown on the illumination plan. And we can see that there's much information being shown for the poles, conduits, wires and cables, junction boxes, and cabinets at this location. As we're wanting to have a higher level overview of the illumination plans, we'll focus on the location of the illumination poles for our review. From the legend, we can see how the notes are to be presented on the plan sheet. And we find the note for pole number 1 here. With the legend, we can see that the note provides that pole number 1 is to be installed 3.5 feet behind the sidewalk at this location. On the other side of US 101, the note for pole number 2 is found. And with pole number 2 again, it's placed 3.5 feet behind the sidewalk. Feel free to review further on your own if you like, but for our review, we'll move on to the next plan sheet, PA03. On PA03 is the geotechnical data. As the foundation for the poles are underground, the geotechnical data provides information on the subsurface conditions that were observed near the location of the illumination poles. Referencing the legend on the right-hand side, we can see the borehole location here. For the borehole, the profile below shows the materials encountered, and at this location, from the unit description in the upper right-hand corner, there was asphalt and road fill encountered near the roadway surface, and then below that, down to an elevation of 9.9 feet, Gravelly sand and sandy gravel is shown. Next, we'll go to PB01, and with that, we'll skip over PA04 and PA05, as those sheets are near Avenue F. Let's go to PB01. On PB01, this covers the types of junction boxes, details of the concrete apron, and wiring conduit. That completes the overview of the illumination plans. We're going to head back to A02 and finish up our review of the plans with the pavement marking plans. The pavement marking plans are found on sheet QA01 through QB01. This will be the last few sheets that we review together. As you can see, there are many sheets in the set that we did not review, and the majority of the standard drawings. With our high-level general review of the plans near Avenue B, this helps limit our review as well. Let's go to QA01 and then QB01. On QA01, the applicable standard drawings are referenced on the right-hand side of the sheet, and the legends provided on the left-hand side of the sheet. There are general notes shown on the plan sheet, and referring to general note number 2, we can see that all permanent pavement striping is extruded thermoplastic. On QB01 is the pavement marking plan. And with that, we can see the planned pavement markings for the project. Remembering that the area we've been reviewing is near Avenue B, we can focus in on a few of the notes. Let's bring in the legend from QA01, and we'll review the striping proposed near Avenue B. And as the scale of this drawing is 1 inch equals 100 feet, let's zoom in a little bit to help see the details. And we'll start off with the striping near the median and work outward. With the median striping, ND is shown, and the legend provides install narrow double no pass. Near the island, Y is shown for a 4-inch yellow line. At the edge of travel, a W2 is shown for an 8-inch white line. Additionally, we can see that each bubble has 2 liters, indicating that it's a double line on each side of US 101 to provide for that buffered bike lane. ES is shown, and that's for the bike lane marking white. And for the crosswalk, CW-SC is shown for the staggered continental crosswalk. For the details on the pavement markings, those are found in the standard drawings referenced on the plan sheet QA01. With the review of the permanent pavement marking plans, that completes the plan review. Feel free to review the plans and specifications further on your own from the resources from this class.